You know that old saying, everything old is new again? Turns out, it applies to diet advice too. The wisdom of the ages isn't just about philosophy or spirituality, it extends to our plates as well. While we usually associate the Bible with spiritual guidance, it also contains some surprisingly relevant advice on what to eat. From Genesis to Proverbs, there are numerous references to foods that are beneficial for our health. And guess what? A lot of it lines up pretty darn well with what modern science tells us about healthy eating. It's fascinating to see how ancient texts can align with contemporary nutritional science. We're talking whole foods, people. The kind of foods that are minimally processed and packed with nutrients. Fruits, vegetables, grains, the kind of stuff you'd find at a farmer's market, not a drive-thru. These are the staples that have nourished humanity for centuries. It's like the Bible was written with a side of kale and a green smoothie. Who knew? The emphasis on natural, wholesome foods is clear. This isn't about turning your kitchen into Sunday school, it's about recognizing the timeless wisdom in these ancient texts. It's about recognizing that sometimes the simplest advice, even from ancient texts, holds a surprising amount of truth. The Bible's dietary guidelines can be a valuable resource in our quest for better health. So buckle up, Buttercup, because we're about to take a deep dive into the Bible's dietary wisdom and see how it stacks up against modern nutrition science. Get ready to explore how these ancient guidelines can inspire our modern eating habits. Let's rewind to the beginning, shall we? Imagine a time when the world was untouched, pure and brimming with life. The Garden of Eden, paradise, a place where nature thrived in its most pristine form. And what were Adam and Eve munching on before things went south with that apple? They were enjoying the bounty of nature. Fruits and vegetables, my friends. These vibrant, nutrient-packed foods were the original superfoods. Genesis 1:29 states, "Behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food." This ancient wisdom highlights the importance of a plant-based diet. Talk about a plant-based diet. From salads to smoothies, the variety is endless and delicious. It wasn't all salads and smoothies though. Hearty vegetable stews and stir-fries were also part of the menu. The Bible also gives a thumbs up to grains. These golden fields of wheat and barley were essential. Think barley, wheat and millet, the original complex carbs. These grains provided the necessary energy and sustenance. These ancient grains were staples in the biblical diet, providing sustenance and energy. They were prepared in various ways, from baking bread to cooking hearty porridges. The message is clear: eat what grows from the earth. This simple yet profound advice has stood the test of time. It's simple advice yet profoundly relevant in our modern world of processed foods and sugary temptations. The contrast between fresh produce and junk food is stark. Turns out the Bible was onto something with this whole eat your fruits and veggies thing. Embracing a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and grains can lead to a healthier, more vibrant life. Okay, so maybe the apple wasn't the best choice in the Garden of Eden, but it does make you think about the significance of food in our lives and how it has been perceived throughout history. It illustrates a point: not all foods are created equal. Some nourish our bodies and minds, while others can lead us down a path of poor health and disease. The choices we make about what we eat have profound implications. While the Bible doesn't explicitly call out Cheetos and soda, those hadn't been invented yet, it does discourage overindulgence and emphasizes the importance of moderation. The ancient texts often speak of the virtues of self-control and the dangers of gluttony. Think about it: refined sugar, artificial flavors, preservatives. These modern-day forbidden fruits are nowhere to be found in the Bible's dietary recommendations. Instead, the focus was on whole, natural foods that provided sustenance and health. The Israelites wandered the desert for 40 years, and you can bet they weren't snacking on potato chips and candy bars. Their diet was simple and consisted of what they could gather or prepare from natural sources. Their food was simple, natural, and unprocessed. They relied on fresh vegetables, grains, and unprocessed foods like nuts and seeds to sustain them through their journey. It's a stark contrast to the modern Western diet, which is often overloaded with processed foods that are high in sugar, unhealthy fats, and empty calories. These foods are convenient, but come at a cost to our health. These dietary no-nos contribute to a whole host of health problems, from obesity to heart disease. The rise in these conditions can be directly linked to the increase in consumption of processed and unhealthy foods. Maybe Moses was onto something when he laid down the dietary law. By following these ancient guidelines, we might find a path to better health and well-being, just as the Israelites did in their time. Speaking of dietary law, let's talk about sugar. The World Health Organization, WHO, recommends limiting added sugar intake to less than 10% of our daily calories. Why? Because excess sugar is linked to weight gain, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and a whole host of other health problems. The Bible may not have had the scientific data on sugar's negative effects, but it did emphasize moderation and balance in all things, including food. Proverbs 25:16 warns, "If you find honey, eat just enough. Too much of it, and you will vomit." Wise words, Proverbs, wise words. Now before you think the Bible's dietary recommendations are all about deprivation and blandness, let's talk about fat, the good kind that is. Olive oil, a staple in the Mediterranean diet, is mentioned throughout the Bible both as a food and for its medicinal properties. Remember the story of the Good Samaritan? He used oil and wine to treat the wounds of the injured man. Olive oil was considered a symbol of health, wealth, and even holiness. And modern science backs up its ancient reputation. Olive oil is rich in monounsaturated fats, which can help lower bad cholesterol levels and reduce the risk of heart disease. It's also a good source of antioxidants, which protect our cells from damage. So go ahead, drizzle some of that liquid gold on your salad or dip your bread in it. Your heart, and the Bible, will thank you. Section 6. Lean, mean, Bible-approved protein. A look at fish and other meats. Hold your horses, vegetarians. While the Bible emphasizes fruits, vegetables, and grains, it doesn't completely shun meat. Fish, in particular, features prominently in several biblical stories. Remember Jesus feeding the multitudes with just a few loaves and fishes? Fish is a great source of lean protein, omega-3 fatty acids, and essential vitamins and minerals. The Bible also mentions other lean meats like lamb and goat, which were often eaten during feasts and celebrations. The key takeaway? When it comes to meat, the Bible seems to advocate for quality over quantity and leaner options over fattier cuts. Section 7. Fasting and feasting, finding balance in biblical dietary practices. The Bible isn't just about what you eat, it's also about when and how you eat. Fasting, for example, is a recurring theme throughout the Bible, often associated with prayer, repentance, and spiritual reflection. While prolonged fasting isn't generally recommended for everyone, short-term fasting has been shown to have potential health benefits, such as improved insulin sensitivity and reduced inflammation. On the flip side, the Bible also celebrates feasting and communal meals. Think Passover Seder, wedding feasts, and other gatherings where food played a central role in bringing people together. These feasts weren't just about indulging, they were about community, gratitude, and celebrating life's blessings. The takeaway? The Bible advocates for balance between fasting and feasting, indulgence and moderation, and nourishing our bodies while also nurturing our spiritual well-being. Section 8. From Leviticus to Today. The enduring relevance of ancient dietary wisdom. Leviticus, often associated with a long list of rules and regulations, actually contains some surprisingly sound dietary advice. It emphasizes the importance of clean eating, avoiding certain animals considered unclean, many of which we now know can carry diseases, and focusing on fresh, whole foods. While we may not adhere to every single dietary law outlined in Leviticus, the underlying principles of choosing healthy, wholesome foods and practicing moderation still hold true today. It's a testament to the enduring wisdom found within these ancient texts. Section 9. Eating like it's holy, simple tips for a more biblically inspired diet. So, how can we apply these biblical principles to our modern lives? Here are a few simple tips for eating like it's holy. Embrace the Garden of Eden approach. Fill your plate with plenty of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Think before you snack. Choose whole, unprocessed foods over sugary treats and processed snacks. Olive oil is your friend. Use this heart-healthy oil for cooking and dressing your salads. Go lean with protein. Opt for fish, beans, lentils, and lean meats in moderation. Practice mindful eating. Slow down, savor your food, and eat with gratitude. Remember, healthy eating doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes the simplest advice is the best advice. And when it comes to food, it seems the Bible was onto something all along.